EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Pregame Show. It's Week 14 in the National Football League. Philadelphia Eagles in L.A. at SoFi to take on the L.A. Chargers. A battle of two 8-4 teams fighting for their position in the playoffs. I'm joined now by Dan Sileo, host of the National Football Show, and John McMullen, host of Birds 365 and Eagles Insider. How you guys doing on this Monday night? A little Monday night football to kick off the week, boys.
Yeah, I love it. Let's kick it off at 10 o'clock.
Hey, John, have you ever seen a wilder schedule in your life for a football team? I first feel like the Eagles have been off for about 5 months. And I mean, they've got these wild games. Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night,
Friday night.
No homes. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, listen, this is a premier team. I get it. And, you know, they are a massive draw when it comes to television ratings for the network. But holy cow, you talk about all over the gamut here with these games. I mean, I don't know, you know, if that plays any factor, you get like a lot of games. And then, right, John, then you had Cowboys and Bears like in 24 hours. You had to play both those games. I mean, it was that kind of stuff, right? It's been wild.
Yeah, it's been it is a crazy schedule because and they are. I mean, I mentioned it this morning. It's better to be relevant than not, but to have all these different weeks, you know, Sills, the players like routine, man.
Yes.
You know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday game. That's what they want. Saturday walkthrough, Sunday game.
And preferably 1 o'clock, John.
Yeah. And you'll talk to coaches during the week, like this week, where everything is backed up a day. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday becomes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And they'll talk about Saturday like it's Friday. They'll slip and they'll say, hey, Friday, you know, because in their mind, that's how it works. But I mean, that's the NFL. If people keep cashing, you know, cutting those checks, yeah, we want a Friday game. There'll be a Tuesday game. They might invent, if the NFL's so powerful, they might invent a new day.
Absolutely. And to Zander, I'm telling you this, in the next 4 years, don't be shocked if the NFL hits that 20-game mark.
Yeah,
you watch me. If they go to Europe, you watch.
When they're paying $100 million plus a network for a game, one game that is, it's going to be quickly. All right.
All I would say is give the players 2 more buys in there, and you probably get that on the next negotiations when it comes to adding the teams.
I don't
and
know.
Expanded rosters.
The players are half dead in week 14. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know how much farther they can go.
Remember, John, I'm not a quarterback. I don't make $50 million. But most of the league are the lower end paying guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where the NFL goes. They're going to 18 games, but next year?
Not officially, but obviously they're going there quickly, and they'll give up more. You know, the whole thought about that is there's not going to be any off season anymore. So they'll start training camp like a week or 2 earlier.
Yeah.
And they'll skip OTAs and minicamp and all that bullshit. But we'll see if that's how it shakes out.
All right, guys, let's get into this game here. Battle of two 8-4 teams. I think the big storyline coming in, and we'll get into all of them, but the number one for me is just this Justin Herbert injury. John, when I'm assuming, let's just assume for the conversation he's going to play. I don't think we've gotten confirmation, but it does look like he's going to play. They didn't elevate another quarterback, and he is out on the field right now warming up in L.A. What does that change for a quarterback like Herbert? They are a big under-center team. They do run a lot of play action. He's obviously got a big arm, and it's not his throwing arm or his throwing hand. But what do you make of the Herbert injury, and how does it change the game tonight?
Well, I think it changes the game pretty significantly. I mean, it's very hard for me to imagine that he can have screws put into his hand and feel good in 7 days. It is his non-throwing hand. Obviously, if it was his throwing hand, he wouldn't play, period. But, you know, that affects ball handling, things like that. There has been talk during the week that he won't be able to do stuff under center, so it might be strictly pistol, shotgun. if they do have to do short yardage, maybe you do two dual quarterbacks. Maybe you have Trey Lance run some stuff in short yardage, some RPO stuff, things like that. Whoever, if they have any packages for Trey Lance. So it's definitely going to affect him. He's not going to be 100%. There's no way. And we'll see. I mean, you got to see when something like that happens. Obviously, he's a tough guy. He's going to try to play through it, but sometimes you can't play through it. So it's something to keep an eye on, and it's a big advantage for the Eagles that you're not going to have Justin Herbert at 100%.
So it's coming to you, man. The Chargers here, real quick, before I get to you, because I know this is your as a former defensive lineman, people lick their chops at this. They've given up 38 sacks already to Justin Herbert this year. They got no tackles, and now the guy's got a bum left hand. If you're that Eagles defensive line, you're trying to get to Justin Herbert. How do you see the Eagles managing Herbert tonight and the banged up left hand?
Well, that's all under the assumption that your guys are getting to the quarterback.
Fair.
I mean, I saw the New York Giants have a horrible offensive line and beat the living hell out of the Philadelphia Eagles. And that line had one good offensive tackle, and he's the left tackle up there in New York. And that's all under the assumption. I think what you're going to see is a really big-time emphasis on stressing the edges on Philly. Chicago did a great job at stressing the edges. And to me, that's where I think they're going to try to run the football because, hey, it's one thing to say that they've lost both their tackles. It's another thing to turn around and say this. Well, the Eagles have been attacked at the edges when it comes to the run game. That football team runs the ball well. Jim Harbaugh wants to set up everything out of the run game. Everything out of the run game. And you're right. Remember something also. He's done something this year, Justin Herbert, that he hasn't really done in his past. He's averaging about 30 yards running the football. That's extending sticks and moving the chains. I doubt he's going to do that with a broken left hand because you're not going to want to put him in harm's way. You still may see him get out in the perimeter. I'm a huge fan. 6'6", 260-pound guy who could see the field. This guy is a machine back there, man. I mean, 24,000 passing yards in 6 years of playing so far in the NFL. The question is, again, under pressure. If you get pressure on him, Zander, and you get that internal pressure, you got to get some pressure from the inside. And with no Jalen Carter, you don't want to see that guy sitting back there picking your ass apart because he can do that. He's very capable. And Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator, they're going to be attacking away from Quinyon Mitchell, in my opinion. So keep an eye on that tonight.
No doubt. Stopping the run is going to be a big thing tonight. Both of you mentioned it there when talking about Justin Herbert. John, coming to you here, Kimani Vidal has 543 yards on the year, averaging 4.5 a carry, and they are getting back Omarion Hampton tonight, who racked up 314, in his first 4 weeks in the league. He has not played since week 5. He returns tonight, so they will have a tandem of backs back there with Justin Herbert. How crucial is stopping the run tonight, John, and what do you expect the Eagles to do to try and bounce back from the 281 they gave up a week and a half ago?
Well, it's very key for that reason, number one. I mean, coming off that performance, that's mission number one for that Eagles defensive front to do a better job. And obviously, the Chargers, without Rashawn Slater, they haven't had him all year, without Joe Alt, one of the best tackle tandems in the NFL. They're not as equipped as Chicago to push the Eagles front around. So number one, it's not as difficult from that perspective. From the other side, the Eagles are going to be hyper focused because of what they went through against Chicago about stopping the run. So I think a lot of it will be self-correcting. Then there's the assumption that, and I talk about it all the time, Omarion Hampton's going to be Omarion Hampton. He hasn't played since week 5, as you mentioned. What are we, week 14? There's going to be some rust there.
And he's a rookie player, so he would probably
conditioning issues.
Yeah, and there's going to be some rust. But All's been playing well. If I were them, I'd still lean towards Vidal more than Hampton, but we'll see how they approach it. But guys are rusty when they sit for that long, and I think that will certainly happen with Hampton as well.
Yeah, Sills, how do you see it, man? Hampton coming back, and Vidal, who's at, I think he's been averaging, 4.5 a carry or something. I just gave you the number. I'll pull it right back up for Vidal. But he's been a good runner, and then Hampton, who's been a good runner as well. Two good backs coming in. I do think John's right. 4.5 he's averaging. I do think John's right about some of the rust, but my guess is Harbaugh gets him going, or at least tries. Sills, how do you see the run game playing tonight on the defensive side for the Birds?
Well, they got 3 players over 300 yards rushing. I mean, Hampton, like you said, at 314, Herbert at 353. That might be diminished a little bit. And all these guys are over 4.5 yards a carry. One guy's at 6'2", and that's the quarterback. And again, I think that's going to be a factor if the quarterback can't get out in the perimeter and help the run game a little bit, especially if you start stymieing that run game. The question again in that run offense is going to be if they can push that Eagle defense around. And quite frankly, without Jalen Carter in there, the backup dude Young that they're putting in there, that to me is a wash. This has to be like a Jordan Davis game here. So for me to sit there and say that the interior of the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles is not where they're not going to attack that. They are going to attack that because you got a backup guy in there and you're not deep there. I mean, who's the
you got Morrow before Byron Young. So Morrow Jomo will, they will amp up the playing time for Jordan Davis and Morrow Jomo. And Byron Young's going to have to be a part of it as a rotational player. But, if Vic's history last year with the edge rushers, when he started getting injuries there, he didn't lengthen the rotation. He shortened it to 3 guys. I think he's going to do that tonight with the inside guys. Jordan Davis, Morrow Jomo will get a lot of playing time. Byron Young will get significant playing time. And then maybe Ty Robinson gets 5 or 10 snaps. But
okay, well, John, who's playing Carter spot then?
Morrow. Morrow's
gonna slide down and play Carter spot?
Yeah. Morrow's gonna, well, in 5-man fronts, they're gonna have all 3 on the field. Jordan's the nose tackle. The 4 eyes will be Byron Young and Morrow Jomo. But and if they go 4, it's gonna be a lot of Davis and a lot of Morrow. And the strength of Morrow Jomo is obviously the pass rush. But as I said, in the short run, the guy who was out there on the field against Chicago is not helping you, Jalen Carter. He was too banged up. That's why they shut him down. I mean, he played his worst game as a pro. So that's the reason they had to beg off and shut him down and we'll see how long it is. Long term, obviously, you can't replace somebody of that talent level. But again, if you're just comparing it to the Chicago game, you're probably going to be a little bit better. That's how deficient Carter was because of the dual shoulders. Couldn't play. Was not the same guy.
Yeah, and they did.
That's why they had to sit him down.
I mean, because when he wasn't good, the defense got gashed, and now you're without him entirely. I think the question there is fair to say, how gashed do they get again tonight?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, a Morrow and Jomo at 90% is going to be better than Jalen Carter at 50% or maybe less, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but you're still down a body. I mean, you understand that. You're still down a body.
Well, you're still down a body, but if that body's not helping you, I get the name, but he didn't play like Jalen Carter.
So who was better then, Carter last week or Byron Young? Because Byron Young.
Well, they were both bad, but I would say.
So you're replacing bad with bad. I get what you're saying, John, but it's not good. I mean,
I would say for that game, it's the worst game I've ever seen Jalen Carter play, and there's reason for that, as I said. And I would say Byron was slightly better. Now, Jalen did some good things on 3rd down, but I'm talking in run defense because that was the big thing. With 281 yards, he was getting washed out, guys.
Big time.
Washed out.
Yeah, he was, no doubt.
Yeah. And it was affecting the linebacker play.
Oh, yeah. So I'm saying that guy. John, I'm talking about that guy.
Do you have any idea what the rate that the Eagles defense this year is running 5-man fronts?
Not a lot. They never use it a lot.
Right.
but-
It's like is it under 20%?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I wonder if that number goes up a little bit tonight, coming off the heels
Maybe.
of 281.
Well,
and
maybe he
no
has a
targets.
history. He has a history going to 6-man fronts if he has a bad running it. But he
Well,
might
and I
not
just
have.
think the Chargers are going to be tough on. They're going to have struggle, on offense if the running game.
Oh,
can't
and they're
get
going to
going,
threaten the run tonight. They're going to see if the
That's what I mean. If the Eagles can
run
take away the run,
yeah.
the Chargers are going to be limited.
Yeah, they're going to attack the run game. They're going to see if that was a one of, because that was the worst performance against the run that I've seen a Vic Fangio defense in a long time, where they just got annihilated like that up front. And they're going to go like this tonight. I guarantee you Harbaugh's going to come out because they want to win first and second down because of the quarterback. You put the quarterback in third and short, this quarterback in third and short, and you win first and second down tonight, Herbert's going to have a big night.
Yeah, should be a good one there. All right, guys, let's move over to Eagles offense a little bit coming into this game. The offense, it's been the talk of the damn season, the whole year this year. Waiting
Hey,
for
real quick, the inactives are out. I don't know if you guys want to. They're obvious. Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter, who were ruled out. Josh Uche is getting screwed, man. He was playing well, but he doesn't have a role now. Mac McWilliams, A.J. Dillon, the purchaser of the Positivity Bunny.
You bought the bunny and you got scratched.
And Sam Howell's your third quarterback. So normal inactives. And we already knew. And I should mention the Eagles did activate Marcus Epps earlier today. So he's expected to get the start at safety. They also elevated Andre Sam. So they have dual safeties they've added for this particular game. Chargers inactives, Nico Reed, corner, linebacker Kyle Kennard, tackle Austin Deculus, wide receiver Dalvion Campbell, tight end Tyler Conklin, veteran guy, used to be good, not much of a impact this year. Wide receiver Keandre Lambert-Smith, so no high profile inactives for the Chargers either.
Yeah, so pretty low news quality there on the inactives in terms of what it is, but important to update. Guys, moving into the offense, you have a tough matchup tonight for this offense to get going, an offense that's been looking for an identity, an offense that's been struggling by basically every metric. Now you have a defense that's excellent against the pass, very physical, great scheme, and they will not make a lot of mistakes. And they have obviously a rare player in Derwin James in the secondary that they'll move all over the place on that defense. It's going to be a tough one for the Eagles offense to get going. Sil, starting with you tonight, man, what did the Eagles offense has to do tonight to try and find an identity here and come alive in this final stretch of the year, final 5 games?
This goes back to 1920 when the league was first founded. Dude, 2 things are never going to change in this league. Run the ball, stop the run. Run the ball, stop the run. I don't give a crap about what type of spread offense you spreading people out. If you can't stop the run, you can't win ball games. And tonight, you got a very underrated football team here in the front 7 of the Chargers here. That Tart and Hand and all them guys in there, by the way, they're 100% healthy in that whole entire 11-man front or 11-man defense going into this game. Khalil Mack, I'll tell you this, he's not the same Khalil Mack that he was 10 years ago or 7 years ago. That guy could still play some ball. I heard Vic talking about him. He's a great dude. He brings a lot. I texted Denzel Perryman earlier. This is probably the healthiest that he's been. He's one of my Miami guys. I mean, they're looking forward to this competition here tonight. They've got to win first and second down. Zander, I'll tell you something. For that middle of the line, John, center and 2 guards have been terrible. That's where really the problems are humming there with that offense. They can't push the interior guys off the ball. I mean, Chicago beat them up in that game, and they're very limited. And this football team's better, I think, than that Chicago defense. So Minter, their D coordinator, came with John from Michigan.
Yeah.
He's a damn good young coordinator in this league. They've got to run the football, in my opinion. They run the football, AJ and DeVonta will have a lot of space, and that'll be a big night for them. They don't get the ball going, and they can't get that run game going. It's going to be another sputtering effect.
No doubt. Good pass defense, and they do run multiple fronts. They're going to give Jalen different looks tonight. John, what does the offense have to do to get going tonight?
Well, they're built to run the football. They got to figure out how to run the football. I mean, that's what they've been focused on. I know everybody's tired of hearing it, but they're focused on eliminating the mental mistakes, the mental errors, and the negative plays, and getting in third and manageable, which is no secret. That's where everybody wants to be. But the Eagles are 31st in the league, maybe in third and situations. 28. So they got a little bit better. I didn't check it this week. It was 31st going into that Chicago game. So, but they're terrible, and they've been terrible all year when it comes to staying ahead of the sticks. And part of that is, the false starts and that stuff, the mental errors. But part of it is the negative plays, the tackles for loss. In getting, 1st and 10 instead of 2nd and 5, it's 2nd and 13, and then you might as well head to the sidelines because they haven't been able to impact that part of the game. And nobody is. I mean, nobody is consistent when it's 3rd and long in this league. And the Eagles have been no exception to that rule. So they got to get the third manageable. And then when everything's on the table and you have to respect the quarterback run game, you have to expect the traditional run game, that's where A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert can do some damage. But if you're constantly in 3rd and long, people know what to do in that situation.
Long night.
And especially against the Eagles offense, they know. Yeah.
And that's been the Eagles. That's been the issue with the Eagles offense all season. And they can't run the football. I mean, we've said it. Saquon Barkley goes from 2,005 yards. He's on pace for almost 1,000 less than that. Think about that. What does that mean to you? 1,000 less yards. It's
and look at the yards per carry too, John. He's like 3.7 compared to almost 6 a year ago.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
5.8 down to 3.7.
Yeah,
I mean, that says it right there. And this team is built to run the football, and they haven't been able to run the football. I don't know if they can figure it out in week 14, but they better figure it out. Because
at what point, John? I mean, to your point there. I mean, at what point do the Eagles look for a change? I get your point of like certain conversations are for the offseason. You're not going to change it now.
Too late
now.
You
guys got. I mean, don't you guys agree? All right, we're a run team. I'm not asking you to change the philosophy. Do we need to look at some different ways to get this running? At what point do you stop banging your head against the wall? I get it. There's a pride element. When you're great, and no one cares if they know what's coming. Well, it's not working. At what point do they try and change that up? You guys don't think that's going to come anytime soon here? They did joke about a game plan.
Dan's buddy Howard had Kurt Warner. I saw Kurt Warner. Howard put up a clip of Kurt Warner on his podcast.
It's a good pod.
What did Kurt say? It's week 14. You don't
that.
change. That's a Hall of Fame quarterback. You spend all of training camp preparing. How many times have I said this on Birds?
Is there a difference in changing philosophy versus variation in the way you try and get the run
You're
game?
afraid of
tweaks. You can make tweaks, but they're not grandiose changing of philosophies.
No way. You do that in OTAs.
Yeah.
And you do that stuff there. You don't do that, like John's saying, because what the coaches are afraid of is panicking. When you do stuff like that and you come out of routine and all the things that you're practicing, and all of a sudden you start to become Marty Schottenheimer in the postseason. You start doing stuff that we haven't done any of this. You want to know why he was 4-14 in the postseason? Marty started doing all that stuff that you're talking about, and they're practicing crap they never went through during the regular year. John Wooden said something to me a long time ago, John. He said this: I do the same thing I did in week 1 versus the University of Washington that I did when I was playing Kentucky for the national title. I don't do anything different. We do the same thing every single day. That philosophy, Zander, never changes. I don't care what era it is.
I get it. The philosophy I don't think needs to change. I just wonder if they're going to, eventually try and get a different look if the running game is really the only way to get this offense go. I think that's a fair. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, I wonder at what point they get to that where they do try and look at some different things, even if it is an offensive line problem. All right, can we get Saquon outside? Can we run him to the end? I don't know. Can we run him a pitch? Can we run him a crack toss? I don't know what they're going to try and do.
Ooh.
I'm looking for anything to get this thing going.
By the way, I'm sorry. Big NFL news as a whole. This is a wow. The Colts are planning to bring in quarterback Philip Rivers.
No
to see if he
way.
Still has it. To see if he still has it to try to save the season.
What?
Wow.
Boy, Nick would like Nick loves Philip Rivers.
Dude,
but,
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, John, I covered that guy for 5 years. And I'm telling you, man, that dude is a ball player, man.
Did they sign him or they're bringing him in for a workout?
No, they're bringing him in for a workout. He's 44. They're bringing him in to see if he can help to bring on the practice squad.
Shit, you might as well give Tom Brady a call. I mean,
well, hey, if you got Anthony Richardson in the room, I'm going with Philip Rivers at 44.
That tells you though, but desperation. But that'll be interesting if they bring Philip Rivers back. But hey, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Can Philip help the Eagles? Call now. We'll let you know. I don't know. All right, we'll see.
Sorry to interrupt, but that was.
No, you're good.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, worth interrupting for. With this Eagles offense, though, then do we? How much passing are we expecting tonight versus the? I mean, you're going to have to a little bit. You're just going to take the shots. Is it going to be the same basic bullshit over and over again? I'm assuming that's what you guys are both telling me. There's no chance.
They average. The Eagles average 196 passing yards a game. They're 23rd in the NFL. There's a lot worse passing offenses than the NFL and in the NFL than the Eagles. I'm not saying they're great. DeVonta Smith is over 800 yards. AJ's catching up now. He's at 699. I mean, it's not like they can't throw the ball at all. I don't know where this comes from. And then you add in the couple rough weather games they had, Detroit and Chicago.
Green Bay.
And the Green Bay was cold, but it wasn't as windy. I'm more concerned about the wind when it comes to the quarterbacks. And the two windy games were Detroit and Chicago. And look, and I say, all right, you can say it's excuses for Jalen Hurts, but look at how Jared Goff performed. Look at how Caleb Williams performed in those same games. It affected all three quarterbacks pretty significantly. So it's not nothing. They can throw the ball. It's not like they're, Dylan Gabriel Browns or Cam Ward or J.J. McCarthy. They can throw the ball, but they're not going to be a high volume passing team. Just not what they do.
I know that, but I mean, certain game, I don't know. At what point do we get
Zander?
All right, 4-4 in the last 8. All right, let's see. Sills, what are you expecting tonight? You look like you got a grin on your face, like you're the Grinch who stole Christmas.
I'm not giving the Eagles. It's week 14. It's the benefit of the doubt anymore. After getting your faces kicked in by Chicago and a limited quarterback. I mean, look, I'll tell you one thing Ben Johnson does for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, man, if you watch that guy play ball against Green Bay, he was so limited in that game. But you know what he does? He does a great job at coaching to that guy's skill set. And they win. I like that Chicago team, even though that loss to Green Bay, I really do like. They play tough. They play rough. They have such limited players, but there they are hanging in every ball game, beating the Eagles, hanging with the Packers. I don't see that in Philly. I do not see that. Going into this game, I think the better team on that side of the ball are the Chargers. On the other side, I think Herbert is the better quarterback than Hurts, and he's going to spread the ball around. Where is the advantage do you think the Eagles have in this game heading into this thing?
I don't. Offense advantage.
John, what do you think the advantage is?
Well, let's just run through it together. John and Sills, both give me an answer. Who's got the advantage offensively? Who's the better offense coming into the game?
I think the Chargers are.
I mean, Chargers are at full health, but there's not full health. I mean, you're talking about again, I don't know what Justin Herbert's going to be other than he's active and he's going to play. And he's been hampered by the lack of tackles. So I think when you look at and say they're the 10th ranked offense in the NFL, but that's been trending downward because of the injuries. And it's been more of a difficult thing. So, yeah, when they're full strength, obviously they're a better offense. And a lot of that hinges on Justin Herbert's ability to throw the football consistently.
So the broken left hand led Chargers, Justin Herbert led Chargers. Are they better offense than the Eagles' offense?
Typically, yes. Today, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
they don't have.
The injury does wobble that because they have won 5 of 7 coming into this thing. Now, the injury does throw all of that, to John's point. It throws all of that because if you're going to be the majority of the time in shotgun and you go no backs, dude, you're tipping it off to me that it's third down and I get the home off the ball. Dude, you better see some pressure here tonight because
guys, sometimes
you're giving me the advantage.
Sometimes it feels like the Chargers could put a traffic cone at the quarterback and they'd still have a better offense. But for the sake of the conversation, we'll give it a push.
I'm just saying, man, you tip your hand on what you're doing offensively more.
I hear you on that. So
I mean, that's part of the Eagles' problem with the running game. They were tipping their hand with running from the shotgun. They were tipping their hand. So obviously, yeah, if you have a guy who's, and he's limited from the standpoint of he's a heck of a runner. I think people don't realize that because he's so big. But I don't think he's going to be doing too much running today either because, football is a violent sport. Dan could tell you about this. I mean, nobody's going to admit they're going after the hand, but one helmet.
Oh, you bet I am. I'm stepping on that thing.
Well, I mean, in the moment, they're not going to admit it, but they're gonna go after that hand. Trust me. And then as a whole, I think we talked about because Carter's not there, and I get it. People are going to focus on that, but to me, this game is about the edge guys. It's about Jalen Phillips and Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt, because they are playing traffic cones at tackle for the Chargers. They got to make an impact. Those guys got to make an impact.
Yeah, let's see if they're able to do it. Sills, I thought you brought up a good point too earlier about, you don't want Herbert in situations where he's got to put his hand down to catch himself if he's getting sacked. Yeah, something like that. So they're going to be trying to get that ball out, I would assume, quick. For Herbert tonight, and a lot of running the football, which is why I'm thinking some 5-man fronts come into play here in a big way. We will see. Guys, special teams tonight. Who do you think has the advantage in special teams tonight going into the game? The Chargers have Cameron Dicker.
Dicker the kicker?
Dicker the kicker, baby.
Yeah, man. Dicker the kicker.
Eagles had to move on from him because they obviously had Jake Elliott under contract.
Yeah, I think now Dicker the kicker is probably the better kicker. To be honest, but Jake's still good. Obviously, had some trouble in the weather. Missed an extra point. Missed a 52-yard field goal. You can accept a 52-yard field goal, but you can't accept the extra point. So he's got, even in those kind of conditions, he's got to make that. But it's in SoFi. It's a home game for the Eagles, by the way.
By the way, guys, Cameron Dicker is 117 of 125.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable.
That's an NFL best 93.6% success rate in his career. That's pretty incredible. I didn't realize it was that good.
Hey, John, let me show you this, John. I'm 6'1.5". Look at Justin Herbert, how much taller he is than me.
Oh, yeah, he's big.
Justin Herbert's a big dude, man.
Okay.
He is a big
guy
dude.
is gargantuan, man. He's a big dude. But it's going to be important, Zander, to get pressure on him tonight. It really is. Get pressure on him, hit that hand, and to John's point, you know what you do, Zander, when you're in that pile a little bit, you kind of roll over it a little bit, kind of roll on it, you kind of throw your elbow down a little bit, play a little game down in there. They're going to be very protective of him tonight, but you bet those guys will be going for that hand.
And to the point of the quick game, some of these, Jalix Hunt, who's had a knack for intercepting the ball, maybe, at the line of scrimmage, these quick chance to jump those things if you time it right. Because because I think the ball is going to be coming out quick.
I do too. You're going to see a lot. You might see a lot of 3 to 5 step drop instead of 7 tonight to get that football out. Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen's still Keenan Allen. He can make plays. And like I said, if you look at their numbers, John, take a look at, they got like 4 or 5 guys that are over 500 yards receiving. He spreads the ball around.
I love Keenan Allen. And Nick Sirianni loves Keenan Allen.
Receiver, man.
Yeah, that was this guy in San Diego when he was there. Yep.
They're they have 2 of the best route runners in football with Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey. I think that's the best matchup on the field. Ladd McConkey and Cooper DeJean. That's good against good. Tremendous route runner, Ladd McConkey. And then they have Quentin Johnston, who I mentioned. He's the most talented, but he drops the football. Yeah. And they got a good athletic young tight end in Gadsden. So they got a lot of playmakers, but
remember Oronde Gadsden Sr. from the Dolphins? That's his kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's his kid.
And he's having a good season. So they got a lot of guys to throw the football to. They're a good team, but injuries, like look at what's going on with the Colts. They look like the best team in the AFC, and all of a sudden the
Chargers are actually I guess not. Their tackles are out, but I felt like I was going to say they're actually relatively healthy outside of Herbert, but they're not. They're missing the tackles. Defense is obviously healthy, but
if Slater and Alt are there, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. I agree.
But they're not.
Guys, what do you think the biggest matchup advantages are for each of these teams? So, Sills, give me where's the biggest advantage for the Chargers in this game, and where do you see the biggest advantage for the Eagles in this game?
I'm gonna say Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips has to be a star tonight because to what John said, dude, they're gonna run at the tackles. They're gonna try to run them stretch plays. They're gonna attack because they saw the success that the Bears had against that defensive front. They're gonna threaten that, and they're gonna go at that. So to me, Jalix Hunt and Jalen Phillips tonight, dude, they can't get washed down and they can't blow up those linebackers and the defensive tackles. Those edge guys have to help the tackles because you're limited in there in depth and in talent going into this ball game. If you're getting washed down and all of a sudden, if you see this right out of the gate, right, John? If you see those running backs catching screens and seeing that they're winning first and second down, Eagles are in for a long night.
Yeah, I agree. What's the biggest advantage then for the Birds?
Again,
go ahead.
John, I'm coming to you next. Sills, go ahead, Sills.
The biggest advantage going into this game, I would have to think, is going to be Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell trying to keep that passing game under attack because they've got to keep everything not behind them, no plus 25 plays. Because I really don't think, again, that they have a lot of advantages in that front seven. I think it's going to be in that back end. And with Herbert's injury, how much are they going to threaten the deep pass? Because get this, John, think of this, right? If you drop him 7 steps, John, that means you're taking a chance that this guy gets hit in the back of the head. That means you got developing plays. If you're going to go short passes, 3-step to 5-step, that means you're going to have not mature routes. That means they're going to be in the middle of the zone. That's linebacker play. That's where I think the strength is also with the linebackers because the Eagles are very talented in that linebacking core.
John, coming to you, man. Biggest matchup advantage for each of these teams?
Well, I think the Chargers, I think you talk about Derwin James. I think, to me, he's not only one of the best defensive players in this league, he's one of the most interesting because he lines up everywhere. He'll line up at his natural position, which is safety. He'll line up in the slot. He'll line up as an off-ball linebacker. Will even occasionally line up as an edge rusher. And I mentioned on Birds 365 this morning, I was talking to DeVonta Smith. Most of the time he's playing slot or linebacker, glorified linebacker. And sometimes you don't realize which he's playing, and that really can screw you up. Sometimes he's doing the role of the off-ball linebacker. Sometimes he's playing the slot role. And you have to find out where 3 is. That's his number. And DeVonta said, you got to find out where he is and you got to find out what he's doing because it will toggle from play to play.
They move him around so much.
And Jesse Minter's done a tremendous job utilizing that skill set because not a lot of guys can do that. Malcolm Jenkins used to do it a little bit for the Eagles back in the day. And I always remember, Minka Fitzpatrick and all the talk about Pittsburgh and is actually Miami, who wanted to make him a Malcolm Jenkins type player. And he was like, I don't want to do that. I want to play safety. And, some guys don't have the sentiment to be able to move around and embrace the role because it's really, really difficult to do. And he's as I said, he's one of the best defensive players and a really, really difficult matchup for everybody because he's a Where's Waldo. You got to find him. And then you got to figure out what he's doing, which may be even more difficult.
Yeah, right.
So
he's one of the few guys that's really used everywhere on the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's, I like Metellus, but he's having a bad year. Minnesota. He had a good year 1 year, but he doesn't have this talent. This guy's like Metellus with talent.
Yeah, right.
With top tier, high level talent. And he's just a big time player. So that's where I give the Chargers the biggest advantage. I think he's their wild card on the defense. For the Eagles, I already mentioned it. It's Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt against the Chargers tackles. Now, typically, again, if that's Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, I say, ooh, it's going to be a tough day for those guys. Now they gotta show out. They gotta make impactful plays, because that's a real weakness for the Chargers, and you have to take advantage of it. You have to.
I agree, guys.
Let me make a point about Harbaugh's staff. One thing that I really, really love about what he did, and Jimmy Johnson pointed this out to me the other day. And Coach said that he brought a lot of his guys from Michigan with him, like this Steve Clinkscale, who is their secondary coach. They've got numerous guys that are on that coaching staff. So why I bring that up is it's an easier transition for coaches to know and having had success, because Jimmy brought his entire coaching staff from the University of Miami to the Dallas Cowboys, and it made that transition a lot quicker. And I think that's why you saw Harbaugh, 11 wins last year. You see more success this year. I think that transition has been a really good transition, especially on Mentor's side of the ball defensively. So they're good over there. They're well coached. They're well prepared, and it's no coincidence why they're one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. That's almost the same coaching staff that you had there up in Ann Arbor.
Who do you guys think is the coaching advantage tonight in this game from full staff perspective? I mean, I think the Eagles have the advantage on the defensive side, but the Chargers have, the better output defensively. How do you guys see it? Sills?
Well, I think, how about this? I don't know about better. I know more experience. You got Greg Roman on that side of the football who's been through the wars of the NFL, and you've got Jim Harbaugh, who I pointed out prior to the show starting, 44-19-1 when he was in San Francisco, and here he is again having success again with the Chargers. I mean, everywhere he's gone, whether it's University of San Diego, Stanford, no matter where, this guy here has been a fabulous coach. I call him a fist with a mouth on it. He's going to, like John said, he's going to wear your ass out, man. This guy's not there for long, 5 years, 9 years. Just like Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy never stayed in one place for longer than 5 years at any stop. Was never longer because he wore your ass out.
But by the way, Jim Harbaugh, who's right, these are the 2 winningest coaches in the NFL from a winning percentage standpoint. 1 and 2. Nick is 1. Jim is 2. 700 for Nick, 683 for Jim Harbaugh. So these are the 2 winningest coaches in the NFL currently. With more than 50 games. So they're both really good. They're both really successful. I find it ironic because, and I joke, bozos, the offensive coaches on the Eagles who win Super Bowls and go to the playoffs. I mean, if they're bozos, what are everybody else? They're pretty low. They're like the blow-up doll in the Eagles locker room, I guess. Because
I guess sometimes, though, John, you put this in context. Well, what do you make of George Seifert? He's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
I think he's a heck of a coach, but I get where you're going. But before I get to that, let me just say this about Vic. It's the same thing. Well, you say, well, Vic, and I'm a Vic Fangio fan. I'm an unabashed Vic Fangio fan. I think he's the best defensive coordinator in football. Jesse Minter's better than him this year, putting together a defense, but he doesn't have the reputation yet, nor does he have the experience of Vic Fangio. So people kind of write it off. Whereas, Nick and Kevin are still young. Kevin's inexperienced, even though he's not inexperienced. He's been the passing game coordinator since 2021 here. Kenny Pickett at the Super Bowl said he was the secret weapon when it came to game planning. It's a narrative more than anything else, but perception is becoming reality in Philadelphia. So they need to fix this on the offensive side of the football. No doubt about it. But look, this coaching staff has been, when they got here, first thing I said, Dan, was they got no experience.
Yeah.
Well, they did pretty well. And by the way, who pointed this out to me? Well, it was actually Nick, but we say, he's got Frank Reich on speed dial. He doesn't have to be in the building. He texts him every week. He can bounce anything he wants off of him.
He does.
I mean, this assumption that you need some seasoned guy. I mean, they made playoffs 5 consecutive years. This will be the 5th consecutive year. 2 Super Bowls, 1 Super Bowl win. At some point, people will acknowledge Jeff Stoutland's great, and now he's starting to take some hits, and people will acknowledge Vic Fangio's great, and people will acknowledge Christian Parker's a future head coach, or at least a future defensive coordinator. Clint Hurt has been a defensive coordinator. Bobby King gets a lot of love. Jason Michaels, a tight end coach. I can go on, and Jamal Single. I could go on and on and on. And the 2 guys in charge of it all are bozos? Does that make sense at any level?
John, somebody else that he would, if he wasn't the interim coach, he's great friends with Mike McCoy.
Oh, yeah.
Mike
Tremendous. Mike was here all the time before he got another gig. He was here at training camp. There's a bunch of guys. He had I can't think of his name. Longtime special teams coach. It'll come to me. He had him here when they were having struggles with special teams. It doesn't have to be. They brought in Marcus Brady, who's in with the Chargers now. When he got released from the Colts, they've always brought in sort of these guys. Vic Fangio was here, obviously, in the lead up to the Super Bowl. They brought him on as a consultant, Super Bowl 57, before he went to Miami. And he was a friend of the program before that, similar to Frank Reich, who was busy coaching Stanford. But, Nick and Frank are very close. Dan can tell you that.
Super close.
He's got him on, he can.
I got a text message so much, John, that told me to stop talking trash on him. That's what he goes,
Frank loves him.
Yeah, Frank really loves him. Frank got mad. Frank said, Skills, you better
man.
Stop talking about my boy Nick.
He sent a text to me. By the way, just to give you some context too, John, on what you're saying, the guy who recommended Bobby King to Vic Fangio, because Vic said he had no understanding of who he was, it was Nick Sirianni.
Oh, yeah, Nick brought
he was on
Bobby
that
King.
coaching staff
on the Chargers
with John Pagano, and he was the linebacker coach there in San Diego.
And now Vic loves him. Yeah. Nick brought
heck of a coach. Look what he's done with the linebackers.
Yeah.
Guys, do you believe that the pressure on Jalen Hurts is increasing, and do you think he has to respond and answer to that pressure tonight? John, I'll start with you here. You're inside the building. You see the team up close and personal. You also hear a lot of the narratives, both inside and outside the building. Do you feel as though the pressure on Jalen Hurts has increased, John?
Well, I don't think he feels it. So,
he should start. The offense sucks.
I just think that's, one of the strengths of his game. He is, and, almost I don't want to say he doesn't care, but he doesn't care. That's been, he's steady Eddie. Now, I think people are starting to realize he's got some limitations, and you got these goofballs. Well, he's the Super Bowl MVP, so he's this and he's that. No, he's got some limitations, but I think that's one of the strengths of his game, that he doesn't really feel pressure in big moments, or doesn't show it at least. 19 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's where the Eagles I should have mentioned that. That's where the Eagles have to get back on track. Two turnovers in Dallas and 2 turnovers last week on Black Friday. That's uncharacteristic. And when they turn the football over, that's when they get in trouble. So they still don't have a lot of turnovers, but for them, 4 over 2 weeks is a disaster. And they have to get back to taking care of the football, because if they turn it over twice again, they're going to be in trouble.
Sills, I think you'll take this bait a little easier than John took.
Hey, well,
Is
here.
the pressure on Jalen Hurts, Big Sills.
Wait a second here. $50 million in no trade.
Pressure is a privilege.
Watch this. $50 million in no trade. Okay. I don't feel anything. You might feel it. I have the keys to the city. So you guys can keep telling me all your scanner McKees all you want. I've got no trade, and I got $50 million. I got a Super Bowl MVP. You can moan all you want. That decision's not ever going to be made in the next 2 years. Now, all that being said, I think what's happened here is something that this channel and these 2 shows have been talking about for 5 years. Hey, everyone, welcome to the group. We appreciate it that the quarterbacks got limitations, and we've been saying that since day one, and now this is what you're getting. John must be laughing at people when he goes to the pit there at NovaCare, because everyone's now having this epiphany. Wow, the quarterback's got limitations. And we've been sitting there going like this. Wow, really? And you sit there and shake your head because, hey, look, a lot of things are being shown right now. If there's no run game, Hurts is inconsistent. You know what I mean by inconsistent? He's not a rhythm guy. That's never going to be a rhythm, high-volume passer that you're looking at. He is a streaky player, too. And they call plays to that. He's never going to be a rhythm passer. If you're looking for somebody that's going to sit back there like Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert or somebody like that, or Patrick Mahomes, you got the wrong girl to date, because that's not the guy you're looking at here, because that ain't going to happen here, man. So my opinion, I don't think he feels it, but I think what's happening now, Zander, I think other people around the building are starting to do this, and the fans are going, he does have limitations. And that's creating the noise and the volume of noise that's going around the court.
And
there's a lot more noise
which
around
is
the quarterback.
100% true. And then, then I got to go to the other side of the spectrum, and I got to go, because now they go to the other end and they say he's terrible and he's this, and Tanner McKee should start. And, it's exhausting. It's like, no, he's a very good quarterback, but he's a unique quarterback, and you have to play a certain style of football to take advantage of it. This is a guy, remember, everybody thinks he's having a shitty season, right? This is a guy who's ranked 3rd in the NFL in total touchdowns. He's got 19 passing touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns. He's got 27 overall. He's 3rd in the NFL. He ranks 1st in the NFL in touchdown to turnover ratio, 27-5. He's 1st in the NFL in touchdown to interception ratio, 17-2. He's got a passer rating that's 6th in the NFL. He's tied for 7th in touchdown passes. Does that sound like a bad quarterback? It's not a bad quarterback, but you have to play to his strength, which again, the bozos play to his strengths. I'm asking you guys, honestly, is it that difficult to understand that he's a good quarterback with some limitations.
Yeah, but the limitations do seem to be crippling for the type of offense that they're trying to accomplish with Nick Sirianni and the weapons that they put around him. I mean, when you're telling me that A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith are both pissed off for 2 years in a row on the sidelines, I mean, you know, you can draw conclusions, and while acknowledging that Jalen does things well, you can point out that some flaws might be tough to overcome.
Well, to those numbers, Zander, to what John just said, you know, you counter back on that and you go, well, he's 23rd in attempts, he's 20th in completions, and he's 19th in yards throwing the football, and he's 9th in taking sacks. So there's great positives, and there's also flaws. And I think, John, this is what we've been pointing out for 5 years. He does a lot of things well, but there's things in the game that get exposed. You know, it's almost like there's no gray area with the guy.
It's just hard to keep an offense around him that he evidently needs in terms of a great running game and a great offense.
It is,
I mean,
you know,
it's hard for every team in the league to keep that around consistently.
To the receiver's point, they're only going to take it for a certain amount of time. There's a shelf life, and you know they handled it for the most part with grace last season. Now it's become even a little bit more difficult, and you know they have sort of struggled handling it a little bit more, I would say, this season. Long term, I don't think you can keep those guys happy with this style of offense, but that's a Howie problem in the offseason. You know, you can either try it again or go a different direction and try to build the team a little bit differently.
All right, do you guys think he runs more tonight? Because that's been a big conversation. Jalen does like answering, you know, sometimes the media. That question was asked to him directly about the report. The over-under is set at 33.5 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts. Sills, you taking the over there?
Okay, so let me get this right. He's going to start running around out there with Derwin James, a headhunter. Good luck. I want to see that. Okay, because that guy, listen, I'm a Miami guy, and that guy's an FSU guy, and I'm not – that guy's one of the best safeties I've ever seen. He's in the conversation with Cam Chancellor.
He's probably the best.
He's like that kind of guy. He can play, dude. So I do think Jalen has to run a little more to help the run game. I think that would open up Barkley a little more.
Yeah.
One of the things a year ago that really helped listen, Barkley doesn't go for over 2K unless Jalen.
I'm not asking if you think he has to. I'm asking if you think he will.
Yes, I do.
Me too. John, what do you say?
He's on his longest streak of under 40, I think, in his career. I think it's 5-6 games. I forget what it is, but so I'll take the under. But he is going to start running more later in the season. It starts tonight. And remember, he's one run away from getting 33. He might go for 33.
Yeah, it's true.
But, you know, they haven't been doing it. A lot of tush pushes, a lot of stuff from that standpoint that takes his yards per carry down. But he has been starting to run a little bit more with those quarterback draws specifically. And if one of them pops, he can get that number. But I don't think he's going to break the streak against this defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, what are you guys' predictions? And then I'll read a couple super chats and we'll get out of here for the pregame show. John, coming to you. Your prediction for Eagles-Chargers Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth. I told you this morning I picked the Eagles originally. Then I picked the Chargers when Carter went down. Then I'm back to the Eagles when it looked like Herbert would be 50-50 at best, and now he's active and he's going to play. But I picked the Eagles this morning before I knew Herbert was officially going to play. I think he's going to be limited. I think they're going to win a close game. It's a home game for Philadelphia, so I'm going to go, and that's not even a joke. It's a home game for Philadelphia. The Chargers will be using silent counts. The Eagles probably will too for tempo purposes, but I'm going to go 23-20 Eagles.
23-20 Eagles. Sills, what do you got on the score prediction tonight, brother?
I'm going to change my score a little bit.
All right.
but I'm still hanging with the Chargers tonight. I got 28-20. I got the Chargers winning the football game tonight. I think Herbert's going to throw the ball. I think he's going to have success. I think that zone, they're going to really do a good job in getting those receivers open. I just don't believe that the Eagles are going to get to him in pressure. I don't believe they're going to get to Herbert. I think they're going to do everything they can, Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, to protect him tonight. I got 28-20. I got the Chargers winning tonight.
Hey, the Heisman finalists are out if you guys are interested.
yeah,
Fernando Mendoza, who's going to win it. Jeremiah Love, who's the best player in the country and not in the college football playoffs. Diego Pavia, who was my favorite player, but he's not going to win it. And Julian Sand from
Hey,
Ohio
John, who
State.
should I vote for? John, I have a vote. Who should I vote for?
Mendoza. Stop it.
Mendoza?
Well, I'd vote for Love because he's the best player in the country. But Pavia is my favorite player.
Yeah, I got him second, John. I'm going Mendoza. I got Mendoza one.
Mendoza's going to win it.
Hoosier Sills to the first Big Ten in 65 years or whatever.
I got it. Yeah. And the first outright since 1948.
Yeah, I think Mendoza's in there.
Too much Heisman for quarterbacks. Take the best player.
I do, John. Where I do agree with you is I don't want the Heisman to become a quarterback award only. Like,
by the way, Miami stuffed that guy to 33 yards in the first game of the year. He had
Silver little Miami.
13 carries for 33 yards in that ball game. How you doing?
All right, guys, let's rattle through the supers. Here's Pumper Tanner tonight with the crossed fingers.
Tanner
Here's
tonight.
Pump again, fellas. I just have this magical feeling. Tanner Ball is among us. Here's Miguel Lara. Big Sills. Would Philip run this offense better than Jalen? Haha, shit. Better thrower.
Well, you know what? Nick would do a better job of being a play caller if he had Philip.
Nick loves Phillip Rivers.
Do you know that Philip Rivers' greatest, most successful year in San Diego was when he was there?
By the way, Sills, do you tell people that Frank Reich will admit that Nick was running the offense in Indianapolis because people will say
he was.
They don't believe it.
He was play calling with Philip when Philip was there. Yes.
They don't believe it.
Hey,
they don't believe it.
I just don't think that he understands the style of Jalen Hurts, and that's where I think they get wobbly in that offensive attack, John. I think he is a drop back 7-step offensive coordinator, and I think there's a skill set to that. And I think Ben Johnson.
I think
Ben Johnson's not running the same offense for Caleb Williams that he ran for Jared Goff in Detroit.
No, but that's the whole point. And you can ask Frank this, and he'll tell you the same thing. They ran 3 different offenses in 3 different years because of what happened to them.
Right.
Andrew Luck retired early.
Jacoby
Brissett, then Phillip Rivers.
Huh?
They ran 3 completely good. That's the mark of good coaches. You toggle with the talent you have. Jimmy's and Joe's greater than X's and O's, players over plays. You build the offense around the players you have, not vice versa. If you do it vice versa, you're an egomaniac.
You're John Gruden.
Yeah, right. Here's Pumper again. Tonight we sing, "Now I've had the time of my life." No, I've never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you, Tanner. Pumper almost getting me breaking out the tunes there.
I'm going to get a tissue.
Theo says we're celebrating mediocrity and underachieving. Oh.
Yeah,
well, you're 8-4, and you're still in the mix. And you're
We're
one of the better.
And since October,
I got it.
What are these Eagles fans, man?
Hey, John. They forget
5 consecutive playoff berths.
They forget
the offense is less.
I don't know if you've heard, Sills, but I've called the NFC race for the Eagles. I have projected Birds 365 has projected the Eagles are NFC East champions. So I called it. That's 5 consecutive playoff berths, and we'll see where they go.
And they break the jinx. They break the jinx too.
2 first repeat winner in 2 decades. 2 Super Bowls so far. 1 Super Bowl win, and we'll see where they go. And these guys are mired. We're celebrating mediocrity. These are Eagles fans.
Well, the offense.
Were they all born?
He's talking about the offense. The offense stinks, John.
Were they all born in 2021?
Hey, Zander, the New York Jets. This will be the 15th year they haven't gone to the playoffs, and Woody Johnson's owned the team for 25 years. You figure that out.
All right, well, whatever. Des says best sports media platform in the land. Thank you, Des. Love you guys. Also, Zander, how pitiful was that? Des, please don't make me relive that. That was like Alabama. That was like Eagles offense twice. Des, now we've got to be subjected to that shitty offense twice a week instead of once a week. Here's Gary. That positivity bunny will be a great new profile picture for a corporate pumper. I agree. Coincidentally, Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement for the Colts. Yeah, Gary, we talked about that. That's a big one, man. Phillip Rivers, 44 years old today, by the way, guys.
He's coaching in Alabama, too, a high school right now.
He's also got 9 kids. A great Catholic man. I think he's got 9 children. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What it is?
Rivers.
Yeah. I told him when he had his 10th kid, I go, now you got 2 hoop teams.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to slow down. Luckily, he's an NFL quarterback. He can afford those kids.
Oh, yeah. Made a ton of dough.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good show. Your final thoughts. Johnny Mac, coming to you first. Final thought here. Big game tonight. Kicks off in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, time's running out to get to change the perception about this offense. So the Eagles do have to get it going from that perspective. And it's going to be about eliminating those mistakes, mental errors, and getting in 3rd and shorts, and then everything will fall into place. But that's easier said than done because they've been trying to do that all stinking year, and they haven't been able to do it.
I can't wait to see
your final thought.
How Derwin James plays in this ball game tonight. One of my favorite football players and one of Vic Fangio's favorite football players, Khalil Mack. Older player, but you know what? Still being productive out there. I want to see what they do with him. Again,
we haven't mentioned, by the way, Tui Pelotu, who's a hell of a player.
Yeah,
hell of a player. Just a hell of a football player.
I think he's already up to double digits in sacks.
Listen, Zander, I think this is going to be a tight football game tonight, and I think this is going to be a physical game tonight. Both teams need this, John. There's 7 teams at 9-3 and 8-4 in the AFC right now race. They need this game too because, again, you're looking for playoff positioning here. The Eagles also are in the position because they're trying to fight for home field. This is going to be a big game tonight. So that's why the Chargers are going with Herbert. I don't think if they didn't need this game that he wouldn't be playing. To probably hold him out another week. But
Trey Lance, man. Yeah, they need this game.
Last question, courtesy of Joe High. If the Eagles lose and end up on a 3-game losing streak, is this another collapse officially?
No, because they're going to win the NFC East. So tell me after the first round of the playoffs. Then I'll tell you if it's a collapse. But they're making the playoffs. I've called that race. I don't know if you've heard.
All right, guys. Good show, man. I'll talk to John. I'll talk to you in halftime in the post-game. Sills will talk to you in the post-game show. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. I will see you guys in the post-game show. Thank you so much, man.
There's Johnny Mac and Big Sills joining me here in the pregame show. Big game tonight, everybody. Hope everybody enjoys. What's everybody eating tonight? I got this damn tooth I had to get worked on today. Now I'm like afraid to eat anything. I got a temporary crown on there. You know, what the hell? But it is what it is. I want some score predictions from the great people in the chat. It's good to have everybody here. All right, it's good to have everybody here. Wayne, what's up, Wayne? Des, what up, Des? Des, man. Des, Des, my expectations for Alabama in the college football playoff are nada. Zip, zilch, nothing. Zero expectation. Pretzels and onion dip. Nice. I don't know what I'm working with. Venison. Now, Shady, I know why. Shady was lucky enough, and not lucky, I shouldn't say lucky, was skilled enough to, when he went hunting this year, killed a deer, and he is now cooking up venison, baby. That is good stuff, Shady. I don't know if you're grilling it up or what. All right? I don't know if you're grilling it up or what. Bama stinks. Yeah, Des, they're trash. All right, they're trash. Rotisserie chicken. Cheesesteak stromboli. Chipotle. I saw. Where's Chipotle? Somebody said Chipotle. Des says Chipotle. Des, I love Chipotle. I can't lie. I've always loved Chipotle. Here's HKP. Yes, sir, Z. We ready to watch another shit show. Crazy part is Bama offense probably still looks better. Yeah, it does. Definitely looks a little better. All right. Definitely looks a little better. But so let's see what happens. All right, guys. Let's see what happens tonight. We are under 20 minutes till kickoff. We'll be live on the JAKIB Green Zone. Go and listen to Joe Krause. He is the best play-by-play on YouTube. I'm telling you, turn down your TV volume if you don't like the TV commentators. Turn up the JAKIB Green Zone. Sync it up with your TV and listen to Krause call the game on the JAKIB Green Zone. And then we'll be live at the halftime show and the post-game show. So plenty of content all night for everybody. I'm sure we'll go deep into the evening, win or lose tonight. And we'll have the post-game show later on as well, where everybody, the fans of JAKIB Nation, the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, or any team, by the way, I mean, we had Mark Holmes on last time, can join me, and we'll kick it around, talk some NFL, talk some Eagles after the game tonight. Love all you guys. See you next time, everybody.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.